Hello, everybody that is jumping on the webcast here today. Glad to have you here. I'm Chris Hamilton. I run the website salestipaday.com, and I'll be starting this presentation in literally about 2 minutes. It's the top of the hour right now. Basically, just as a bit of an agenda for this presentation, typically it takes, it's about an hour. There's a lot of information that you'll take in. I'll send you some information after the fact as well, and all valuable information. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to change my screen to the actual presentation. So just bear with me. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, then what you can do is down below there is a question box, and what you can do is you just type your questions in there. I believe you have to be signed in to do it, but all you got to do is sign in as, I believe, as a guest or whatever. So, but if you just ask your questions, or you can text me. If you're in North America, you can text me at 403-630-1243. And if anyone has any questions, I'm just going to go over the chat box. I got another computer running here where I can actually add some stuff in. Let's see if I can get my questions going. Okay. There we are. Okay, so if you just, down at the bottom, if you just want to sign in and ask questions, you just hit guest and it'll bring you up as a guest. So I'm just going to say hi to everyone. There you go. I'm guest 2860. So that's how you can ask questions. You can text me at 403-630-1243. And we'll go from there. So I'm going to jump into this now. We've got a few people on, a few stragglers will typically come in after the fact, but first off, appreciate you taking time out of your day to take this in. One of the caveats I'm going to put on here is I work out of my house. It is summertime, and I have 3 kids, so hopefully there won't be any running around. I've gone upstairs and asked them to politely make sure that they aren't running around disrupting or anything like that. So you should be able to, we should be able to get through this without any kids disrupting us or anything like that. So there we go. So thanks for joining the LinkedIn Social Selling Success webcast that we're putting on. I put these on every single month. I've got another 1 or 2 I might do this month. So if you're on my email list, you'll probably see an email that comes out in regards to one of my other presentations that I'll be doing this month. I haven't decided which one I'll do. I do have one if you're into dealing with consumers and want to figure out how to generate a steady stream of sales leads. On Wednesday, August 17th, I believe it is, 2 weeks today, at 9 a.m., I'm doing a webcast on how to generate realtor leads and also how to generate sales leads. The whole idea behind it is actually leveraging a referral network. And I'm going to show you how to set one up and all the parameters around all that stuff. So if you want to find out more about that, you can email me at chris@salestipaday.com. and I will send you the information on that. So without any further ado, I will jump into this. Our agenda today, there's about 10 plus tactics that you're going to learn in here. There's a lot of stuff that you'll be able to take away once you've watched all this. There's over 100 slides, so you got to settle in. At the very end, I've got a special offer I'd like you to hang around for to watch and learn about, but I will send information out on that after the fact. As I say, if you want to reach me, there are the question box down below that you can type information in or text me at 403-630-1243. Most of the slides down at the bottom here also has my cell phone number, which is you can text me on. It might be kind of tough to see, but hopefully you can get that information. So there we go. So I want to talk about, first of all, what proof do I have? So first things first, I joined LinkedIn in March of 2006, I believe is when it was. There was only just a little over 4 million users on LinkedIn. And when I first joined, I had no clue what this thing was, what it was about, how it could help me. It was a guy, I was at a conference in Houston, and there was a fellow Canadian, and I reached out to him because I thought he was a good guy. He reached out and said, hey, join LinkedIn. So I did, not knowing about it. First couple of years, I kind of fumbled through it, not understanding really the power per se of it, but managed to get my way through. Here we are 10 years later, and there's over 450 million users on it. So I was literally in the top 1% of people that started on LinkedIn. I have learned a ton over the last 10 years on how to leverage LinkedIn and generate sales leads. And one of the things that I want you to understand is, by no means do I consider myself a guru. Why I hold events like this is I can help people with training on LinkedIn. I do consulting on LinkedIn. I have courses that I run on LinkedIn. But this is a means, I'm always learning on LinkedIn. It's changing all the time. And so long story short, I don't consider myself a guru. I've just learned a lot about it, and I like to share the information so that other people don't have to struggle the same way I struggled through a lot of this stuff. So here's the proof that I have. So if you go to LinkedIn, they have an index. It's called the Social Selling Index. So I believe, I've got the link later on, but I believe what it is it's linkedin.com/sales/SSI. And it gives you a number out of 100. And it's based on 4 pillars. So this page is your social selling index board. So one of the things I want to point out here is I'm in the top 1% of my industry in the social selling index, and I'm also in the top 1% of my network. The 4 pillars that LinkedIn kind of gauges you or judges you on is establishing your professional brand, finding the right people, engaging with insight, and building relationships. Now, my suggestion to you, if you want to figure out more of this, and I get to this in a couple seconds, is go to that page, linkedin.com/sales/social selling index, or SSI, sorry. And when you click on each one of these, a little presentation pops up. So I'll show you what I'm talking about in a couple of seconds here. So when you click on, or on this page, when you go further down on this page, there's a ranking, as you see, against the people in your industry. Just to show you that I kind of know what I'm doing. And the interesting thing about this, when I say I kind of know what I'm doing, is before this came out, I used LinkedIn religiously to generate sales leads. Like, I've generated millions of dollars of sales for companies and for myself leveraging LinkedIn. So it's interesting when this came out, and I realized a lot of the stuff I was doing, as you can see from my rank, I'm 91 out of 100 on the social selling index, is that all the stuff I was doing is what they were actually, being gauged against for a social selling index. So my industry, literally, sales and advertising, this scares me, is that most people, the average person has 22 out of 100. So that's basically a 22%. And that's for people that are in marketing. How the heck are they marketing themselves? It's ridiculous. Anyways, against my network doesn't really matter. So I'm about 4 times greater here, but against my network, I'm, it's my peers. I'm not overly concerned how I rank against them, but I'm almost 2 times greater than them. I rank at 1% of the profile views against professionals against me. I'm in the top 3%. This moves up and down all the time. Typically it's just saying, how many people are viewing you out of your connections. And when I look at that, I'm content being in the top 3%. Reason being is I'm up against a lot of people that I'm connected to are world famous authors, guys like Brian Tracy, guys like Guy Kawasaki, Dave Kirpin, all these guys have written great #1 bestsellers. They got a great following. I'm connected with a ton of these guys. So they rank typically higher than me. But you know what, 83 out of almost 3,000 there. This is a while back that I did this, but I'm happy with that ranking. So long story short is I know what I'm doing. So now what I want to do is I want to move in as we go through this process, or this presentation. I try to build on foundations to try to give you enough information to get you going out the gate. and start seeing a positive impact. But before we get there, I have to explain to you a little bit about buyer profiles and seller profiles as it relates to LinkedIn. And most of these statistics I'm just going to hurl at you are straight from LinkedIn, from a whole bunch of white papers in LinkedIn. So I don't necessarily say, this one's from here, this one's from here. It's just, trust me, these come from a bunch of white papers that LinkedIn does. I'm just going to talk about some of the highlights here where the red arrows are. 49% of buyers research vendors through their LinkedIn profile. So basically 50% of anybody who's looking for something goes into LinkedIn to try to find people that can supply a product or service for them. Literally 50% of these buyers will absolutely avoid your profile if it's incomplete. Incomplete being you don't have a picture, you have an incomplete profile, you have very little information sitting in there. So a profile is absolutely imperative to capture the attention of individuals. And in fact, I'm just finishing off a book that will be up on Amazon probably within the next month here, that goes through 40 plus tips and tactics on improving your profile to generate more sales leads. So if you're on my email list, you'll find out more about that. If not, you can email me, chris@salestipaday.com, and I'll make sure that you're aware of this. I'm going to get it out for free for a few days so that people can download it. So there you go. 44% of social buyers use shared connections to find potential vendors. So long story short, what you need to do is you need to be letting people know exactly what you do, especially those mavens or the people that like to connect, because the reason being is that they will promote you out. So if someone says, hey, I need a chiropractor, and you're a chiropractor, your connection would go, oh, you know what? You got to talk to Chris Hamilton. He's a great chiropractor. He'll help you out. They'll do the selling for you. So that's some of the stuff you need to look at as well. As buyers go through their buying process, it's a lot different than years ago. A lot of the buyers used to rely on reps to educate them. Well, what happens is, of course, with the internet, the advent of the internet is most buyers have actually educated themselves well in advance. So, literally in the stats that show up in LinkedIn, 57% of buying decisions or buyers have made their, a lot of their decisions prior to connecting with a rep. Here's one that I really want to talk about is the average cold call appointment rate, according to LinkedIn. This is an IBM LinkedIn study that they did, is 2.5%. I have one that goes through, it's Baylor University did one on, it's called Is Cold Calling Dead? And you can Google that and find it online. It's great. It's a great 10-page read on the success rate of cold calls. But if you crunch the numbers in that report, it's actually 0.5% success rate. So it's pretty darn horrific. One of the other things you need to take a look at is a warm referral. So you getting a referral from somebody, you stand a 2 to 4 times greater chance, or upwards of a 400% greater chance of success, i.e. landing a sale. And something else that goes in here, Word of Mouth Marketing Association has a stat that 65% of all sales are generated by word of mouth or referrals, yet only 11% of salespeople or business owners have a formalized sales process. So, when you look at something like that, referrals are absolutely imperative. And in fact, I have a whole course that I'll talk about later on here. It's called the digital referral, which is how you leverage LinkedIn to generate up to 15 times more sales leads, better qualified sales opportunities using LinkedIn and referrals. And in addition to that, how to be 50 times more effective than cold calling. So pretty intriguing numbers and statistics on that one. So last but not least is 84% of decision makers begin their buying process with a referral. So that's the buying side of things. So basically, if you look at it, buyers are using the internet. They're also specifically using LinkedIn to find solutions or to be able to fix their problem. If you don't have a complete profile and you're not actively engaging, you are missing out on a huge opportunity. This is kind of leveraging how social selling starts to work out in the world. And we'll go into some of the seller statistics right now, some of the seller statistics. So social selling, one of the things that I just want to talk about is social selling is when salespeople use social media to interact directly with their sales prospects. And of course, the biggest platform online for interacting is on the business world is LinkedIn. So it's only going to get bigger or better. I think when Microsoft takes over, I think there's going to be a bunch more enhancements to it, and I don't think they're going to. I don't think they're going to make it worse. I think they're actually going to end up making it better. And I can't believe I'm a Mac user talking about how Microsoft's going to make things better. Anyways, social selling statistics, just for your sake, so you understand. Top social sellers have 45% more opportunities per quarter and 51% more likely to hit quota, i.e., for example, they're bringing in way more opportunity, probably making more money. So here's a stat that's pretty interesting. Sales reps are 70% more likely to get an appointment from a cold connection request if they cite a common LinkedIn group that they're connected with a person on. Sellers who reach out to prospects with relevant insights about their business are nearly 5 times more likely to get a response than sellers who reach out cold. So for example, if on LinkedIn you're connected to a bunch of people that are within your world or your prospect world, if you're reaching out on a continual basis with information that helps them, it doesn't necessarily have to be your company specific information. If you find something online that's pretty cool that you think could help somebody out, I would, forward that off to that person. What I wouldn't do is if it's from your competitor, I obviously would not send that out. But there's ways to engage with people on LinkedIn to get that information into their hands. Sales reps who exceed their quota engage on LinkedIn with their prospects 39% more than other sales professionals, meaning that they're liking, they're commenting, they're sharing their content with their prospects. And last but not least, almost 73% of salespeople using social selling as part of their sales process outperform their peers, and they exceed their quota 23% more often. So basically, leveraging LinkedIn to help with the sales process is a tremendous help. And the funny thing is that 5 years from now, this presentation will probably be obsolete because this is the way that sales are going. So it's one of those things where you need to jump on it now because this is the way that it's going to be in the future. So salespeople that use LinkedIn and other social media platforms, i.e. Twitter, for example, or Facebook, are more likely to exceed their quota and make more money. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you guys, not everything about social selling, but I'm going to give you just enough pieces of information to get you cranking and get you going on this stuff. So as I said before, linkedin.com/sales/SSI. As I say, click on any one of these. There's a link up here as well. If you click on any of these, what you'll do is it will bring up a little presentation that looks like this. And it's a little like a 7-slide. Each one's 7 slides. And it gives you subtle hints. Well, it doesn't even give you subtle hints. It gives you tips on what you can do with your profile or establishing your professional brand or any of these different pillars of the LinkedIn social selling index that you can start to incorporate. And they're not tough. It's really easy to actually do. So I would highly recommend that you do that as well. So as I say, social selling isn't something you do in the future. I think it's something you have to do it now and make it part of your whole process. So before we get started, I want to talk about a premium account. I don't know how many people here have a premium account. If you want to share that information in the chat box, you can say, yes, I have a premium account. No, I don't have a premium account. But I'll tell you what, after you walk away from watching this section, you'll probably think seriously about getting a premium account on LinkedIn. Even though it costs money, I always tell people, invest in yourself, because the fact is you will more than make up for it. And as I said before, I've generated millions of dollars in opportunities and sales using LinkedIn, and most of it has been on leveraging the functions of a premium account. So when you look at stuff, interesting that only 18% of LinkedIn users have a premium account, which means obviously 82% do not have a premium account. Now, I've gone through industries, I've looked at companies, I've worked with companies where, their sales force literally has like 2 to 3% of them have a premium account. The rest of them don't. So my recommendation is get a premium account, and I'll show you why. So here's what I have done. This is an older This is an older view from LinkedIn's website. They've changed their interface a little bit as it relates to the premium account, but I really like the way they laid this out, so I kept this in my presentation. If you want to ever upgrade, you can click on your picture or you click upgrade here, and you can upgrade. If you haven't had, great, guest 5807 that you have a premium account, and 319, that's awesome. You guys are probably miles ahead of everyone else. You can get a premium account free for 1 month if you have not had a premium account in the prior, I believe it's 13 months. So if you go in here, they'll give it to you for free for a month. So here's what we're going to do. This there's another page behind this. It's going to show you free, and it's going to show you kind of the premium or the business account. And there's subtle differences behind this. So this one is who's viewed your profile. So I have grown my LinkedIn network tremendously just by this little feature in LinkedIn. So it's who's viewed your profile. So if you go into LinkedIn, and I believe it's I haven't got it open right now. I'm trying to go from the top of my second or third tab, and it's my profile. If you click on that and click down, it says who's viewed my profile. When you click on that, if you have a free account, you only get to see the last 5 people that have looked at your account. With a premium account, I get to look at all the people that have looked at my profile for the last 90 days. Now, typically when someone is actually looking at your profile, they're there for a reason. They found you for some reason. So let's go back to the statistics. I said, almost 49% of buyers go online to research or find people that can, solve their problem. And these are the people that are looking at your profile. So what I do is I usually reach out to them afterwards and say, hey, I see you viewed my profile. If there's anything I can help you with, please let me know. Always happy to jump on a phone call. Why don't we connect on LinkedIn? Look forward to connecting with you and Chris Hamilton, and send that out. And I'll get 20 to 30% of those people that have viewed my profile that I'm not connected to, typically connecting. So it's a great way to grow your network and also potentially find prospects that you could be going after. In-mail messages, which is the second one here. So LinkedIn has the ability for you to send messages to people that are in second, third, group level and beyond on LinkedIn. If you have a free account, you have to pay $11 for each one of those. If you have a premium account, you get 15 of these every month. 3 months if you haven't used any, up to 45 sitting in your in-mail or 45 in-mail credits. These are great because if you find someone who fits a specific demographic that you're going after, it allows you to reach out to them. So the other thing you need to take a look at is that $11 a month. Basically, you're getting a $165 worth of in-mail messages, and I only spend $49 Canadian a month. So literally, my ROI is tripled just based on that one feature right there. Introductions, I'm not going to go into because the way that LinkedIn has introductions set up now is it stinks. But you do get the ability to do that. Premium search results. I actually have 8 premium search results. They've changed things a bit since this. The premium search results allow me to hone in on a target demographic, and I'll show you guys that in a couple of minutes in this one. But with a free account, you only get to see a certain amount of people in search results that come back every month. And then ultimately LinkedIn cuts you off and says, hey, you know what, you're done for this month. You need to go to a premium account if you want to see any more. The other thing too is they only show you 100 results. After that, you can't see any more. So what I get is I can do unlimited searches, and then also the results that come back, it depends. It's weird. I've seen LinkedIn do some weird things on this, but it will only show me 1,000 results. So it's 10 times greater, or sometimes it goes beyond that. I can actually go way beyond that. It's weird. I don't know how LinkedIn does that, but anyways, it's either 1,000 or sometimes it's even greater. Profile searches here, it says I only get 500. As I said, I just talked to that. It's about 1,000. And then basically save search results. This is great. LinkedIn, if you set up a parameter looking for a specific person on LinkedIn, so like let's say controllers in Calgary in oil and gas industries, And then I want to look up CFOs in oil and gas industry. I look up VPs of ops, CEOs, whatever it is. I could set up 7 different search results when I pull these together. And then weekly, what LinkedIn will do is they will send me an email of any of these people that have changed something in their profile. And it could be that someone's starting a new job. And the interesting thing about that is that when someone starts a new job in a certain specific position, they are up to 10 times more likely to make a product or service change in the first 3 months after changing that job than at any other point in their career. So huge opportunity for LinkedIn to send you sales leads directly. The other thing too, this is just on the recruiting side. I'm not really going to talk about it. LinkedIn's changed this a bit since they've done this. But if you're out looking for a job, it's got some powerful aspects to it too. So as I say, if you want to get a premium account, my recommendation would be that you click up here, you click account, and you can purchase a premium account. If you haven't had it for 13 months, you can get it for free for 30 days to try it out, or you just hit upgrade in the upper corner there. So that's that's basically talking about getting a premium account. Now, as I say, what you want to do is when people are coming to your profile, you want to build out the best profile humanly possible. Now, I'm also going to show you some aspects to this, which will generate up to 15 times more views of your profile just on specific things. So think about it this way. If you can get 15 more views on your profile compared to your competitors, it means that you've got way more potential supplier or buyers of your product or service coming in looking at you. You stand a greater chance. So I'm just helping you up your odds of getting more opportunities. So the first thing I want to talk about is that a profile is all about selling yourself, what you offer, and how you set yourself apart from your competition. What you shouldn't do is do not write your profile like it's a resume. Unless you're absolutely trying to leave your company, then maybe you could do it that way. But I would say do not write it as a resume. When LinkedIn first started out, it was almost like it was just a resume, an online resume. It's really evolved since then. And typically, what you're looking at is it's a mechanism to put suppliers with buyers nowadays. Some of the profile tips here that I'm going to go into, I'm not going to read all these, but some of the ones that are important are the picture. Put it in a picture increases your profile views by 11-fold or 11 times. As I say, 50% of buyers avoid an incomplete profile, which includes a picture. So, you're literally doing yourself a disservice on this one. By adding an industry, and I'll get to this in a couple of secs, you can increase your view by 15-fold. The 2 people on here that do have premium accounts, I just want to let you know that having a premium account also increases your profile views by about 15 times greater than people that do not have it. Education, adding your education adds 50 or 10 times greater. And then skills, by putting skills in, you get 13 times more views. So here's what I'm going to talk about, just really high level on a lot of this stuff. 1, put your picture in. 2, put a headline in. Change your headline. Tell people what you do, who you are, what you do, who you help out, and then with a call to action. So in this case, I'm a small and medium business marketing resource that'll help you generate up to 10 times more sales leads. And then basically my call to action is ask me how. When you go in here, this is where you put your industry in. So this is where you get that up to, up to 11 times more views, I think it was. Complete your profile with your email, with your phone number. You can put your instant messenger information in here if you want. You can also put your address in. I don't put my address in because it's a home address, but you put your Twitter handle in, and you can put up to 3 websites in as well. One of the other things you need to look at is down here is your LinkedIn URL, and you can personalize it when you go down here and look on this. There's a little gear symbol beside it. You click on that, and it'll take you to a page where you can actually create a personalized one as well. And then I always tell people, try to get to 500 connections as quick as humanly possible. And the reason being is that once you have 500 connections on LinkedIn, they stop showing the amount of connections you have. So social proof is I've got a big network and can leverage that network. One of the other things I always tell people is in your summary or also in your profile or your work experience, add multimedia. There's ways to add multimedia in. Basically what you do, and this is in the case of a my experience. It's a little blue box with a plus sign down in the corner. When you click on that, it allows you to add a document, a photo, a link, a video, or a presentation. One of the things, let me just go back. One of the things that I talk about that I think is fantastic is the ability to add like YouTube videos in here. If you can get your clients to give you a testimonial, then it'd be fantastic to put that right into your profile. So great opportunity to do that sort of stuff. Here's something that's really cool. There's a website out there called Photo Feeler. And by adding a profile picture, you increase your views by 13-fold. And what Photo Feeler does is there's a free account, there's a pay for account. Free account, what you do is you have to rate 10 other people's profiles based on their competency, their likability, and their influential factor. And once you've done that, 10 people will rate yours. So you get to see where it is. Now, realistically, what you want to do is you want to try to get these as high as humanly possible with your picture. My likability is down because I'm not smiling. I look like a grumpy old man here. So basically, if I were to put a bit of a smile in there, maybe I should Photoshop it and put a smile in there. That factor would start going up here, and it would be great. The other thing I want you to talk about, or that I want to talk about, is you need to have a professional looking photograph. Don't have dogs in the picture, you hugging your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your husband or your wife or your life partner or whatever. Don't put that sort of stuff in there. It's not professional. By the way, the other thing I want to talk to you about just on your profile, LinkedIn does a great job showing people how to build out their profile. And they'll walk you through the process, just basically telling you a little bit of information. They'll give you a guidance on that. And last but not least in this section is stop annoying people. One of the things that LinkedIn has is that if you have, just on the right-hand side, further down on your profile, it says notify your network. Every time you make a change on your profile, if you have it to yes, it pushes it out to your network. So your network thinks that you're doing a whole ton of stuff. Like I'm getting new jobs all the time or whatever it is. Just turn that to no, save your friendships with people. And one last thing is if you really want to update your profile, but you don't feel that you have enough, or you're not good enough at doing something like that, you can always go to something like Upwork and hire someone to do it for you. And there's lots of great people on Upwork that will do it for a pretty darn reasonable price to update your profile and make it look good. One last tip I want to show you in regards to your profile, though, is that this is the pattern of people accessing LinkedIn via a mobile device. So, I mean, LinkedIn's growing, but also the amount of people accessing LinkedIn on a mobile device is growing too. So right now, as of Q3 2015, so just almost about a year ago, these are the latest stats I have, 55 million people were accessing it, LinkedIn via mobile device. 55% of all unique visitors are on a mobile device. It's a 31% increase from the same quarter a year prior to that. And by this Q3, so kind of by coming up here, September, October, time frame, projections will be this will be about 72 million people, or roughly about 69%, 70% of LinkedIn will be getting it going on to a mobile device to access this information. Just to give you an understanding, this is how the mobile device your profile displays in a mobile device, and it sucks information in from all over the place. One of the things that I really want to highlight is this part right here. LinkedIn's mobile profile is horrific for trying to find phone numbers and how to get a hold of people. If you go down to your summary and just put in the first line, call me at, put your phone number in, or email me at, your email address if you want, it gets pulled into your LinkedIn profile right up here. So people, if they want to reach out and call you or email you, they can access that information right there. So there you go. So we've talked about profile. Now I'm going to go into this advanced search tips and tricks. So this will absolutely change. If you do not use the advanced search on LinkedIn, this will change the way that you use LinkedIn massively. And when I figured this out, it was like night and day. It was like, boom, a light bulb went off and I said, holy crap, I can get way better qualified prospects just by using this feature. So the advanced search functionality, if you go to the upper part, it says advanced up here, this little box pops up, and there's 5 things you need to know. There's quotes, there's brackets, then what they call modifiers, which are and, or, and not. So the quotes is when you're trying to use an exact phrase. In this case, I'm looking up vice president. If I just put vice president without the quotes around it, what happens is it will pull in vice chairman, vice counsel, it'll bring in presidents, basically your results will be skewed with a whole bunch of false positives that you just don't need in there as well. Once you put the brackets around it, it ties that word together and says, I'm only looking for the term vice president, or whatever those 2 terms, 3 terms plus are as well. Putting it into the brackets here is when you're trying to combine terms and what they call modifiers. So modifiers being and, or, and not. I'll get to those in a sec. The vice president in quotations, and, which is a modifier, and in brackets, sales or marketing. So in this case, I'm looking for a vice president with the term sales or vice president marketing. So it'll bring my results back even better. Then what we've got is we've got these modifiers. So I've got and, or, and not. It is important that if you use these, they all have to be in uppercase. So the and term is when you're searching for 2 terms that need to be included. So for example, we'll go back to vice president, sales, and marketing. I need to see that specific term. So that's what that does. Or we'll broaden the search. So in this case, sometimes people use VP as a title instead of vice president, sales, and marketing. So this will bring back bigger results. I'll show you exactly how much. I did this back in October last year. I did a search on vice president sales and marketing in Calgary, and it brought back 35 results. When I put the or VP in there, sales and marketing, it brought back almost 2,200 results. So long story short on this is that I would have missed out on 2,164 potential people to be going after or taking a look at. So can you see how this brings back way better results for you as well? Not is when you're trying to exclude a particular term. So in this case, I want to see a vice president sales, but I do not want to see someone who's a vice president sales and marketing or has marketing in, let's per se that current title that they have. When you're using the advanced search, once again, you click up here, you can start putting the different parameters in here for advanced search. So everything kind of over here is free for you to use on LinkedIn. These are part of having a premium account. So what you do is you put your relationship in there. You have first level, second level, group, or third and beyond. You can pick locations. You can add industries if you want, past companies, current companies, whatever information you want. In this case, I'm also going to look for people that are in the young oil and gas professionals in Calgary, and I'm looking for a president or owner. And when this comes up, what it does is it brings back 130 or 173 results for presidents or owners that are in the Young Oil and Gas Professionals Calgary group. Now, why is this important? I said this stat earlier on. This is a bit of a bad example because it's all second level. I should take in second level or first level out and just included second level. But if I'd put second level in here, this number would probably be like 140, I think. So if you're in sales, you're a business owner, you're trying to cultivate some business. If you reach out to any of these people and you cite a common LinkedIn group, then you are up to 70% more likely to get an appointment or somebody to do certain action that you want based on that. So let's just say, for example, Paul here, I'm not connected to him. Let's say he's a second level connection, even though he's a first. Just as a hypothetical here, I could reach out to Paul and send him a message or send him a LinkedIn connection request. But I would just state that, hey, you and I are part of the Young Oil and Gas Professionals group in Calgary. If it was a connection request, I could simply say something along the lines of, Paul, we're part of the same group. I like networking with like-minded individuals and hoping that you'll accept my connection request. Or, if I'm sending an email to this guy, I can say, Paul, you and I are part of this group. I typically help people that play in your industry, in your position with this type of product or service that, can help do this. I was hoping I could line a meeting up with you, blah, 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 whatever that might be. You'll stand a way better chance of getting in. If you want a cheat sheet on this, basically go to Google and type in LinkedIn Boolean search tips, Boolean search tips. I don't expect you to write that down there. So just search Google Boolean search tips. You will end up with a cheat sheet on this. So that's kind of that, I'm honing in, I'm finding the right people on LinkedIn. Now, in order to generate sales leads on LinkedIn, so now we've kind of created that foundation. Now we're going to put up the walls and build a bitchin' house here. So basically, I'm going to show you what you need to do. So if you need to approach your first level connections, there's a way to approach your second level connections. So approaching your first level connections, what are the first level connections? These are people that are connected to you. So in this case, my buddy Dave Kirpin is my first level connection. One of the things that I always tell people is that with your first level connections, you should be strengthening relationships with your first level connections on a consistent basis. And it doesn't necessarily have to be with all of them, but anyone that can help you by introducing, putting referrals in your place, stuff like that. Those are the people that you need to be talking about. And I'll explain why in a couple of seconds when I go into approaching second level connections. So how do you find these first level connections? What you do is you go, once again, advanced search, pick first level connections, pick the location if you want, or keep it wide open. It doesn't really matter. In the title, you could put your title in here and then you hit search and it will bring up your first level connections. So in this case, I was looking for VPs of sales or VP sales and marketing in Calgary. I have 25 people that I am connected to on LinkedIn that are VPs of sales and marketing at different companies. And these are what I call just the low hanging fruit. These are the guys that you could be going after, or the people that you could be going after and reaching out to if that's your target demographic, because you're already connected with them. If you do not have a strong connection, for example, Paul down here, I don't necessarily have a huge or very strong connection with Paul. I could reach out to Paul and say, hey, Paul, you and I are connected on LinkedIn. We've been connected for quite a while, blah, 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 and then start my conversation with Paul as I want to reach out to him. Your first level connection letter, here's what I would send to them. And I always tell people, take this correspondence typically off LinkedIn. Do it in an email if you can, but if you have to use LinkedIn, you can use it. But basically what you do is you say, hello, whatever the first level connection's name is, hope you're well. Thought I'd reach out as I'm working with whatever company right now, and there is something that they may have that might be applicable to your company. Our company has, and you insert the product or service, and the benefits are, I've attached a couple of documents, brochures, blah, blah, blah. Or you can see more at our company website. Do you have a quick call? Do you have time for a quick call to talk about this? And then an optional part is, if you don't know if that's something that they do, you just simply put in, I know it probably doesn't fall into your world, but was hoping that you could point me in the right direction at whatever the company is. Please let me know if you have time for a call. If you want to grab a coffee next week, I'll be downtown. It'd also be nice to know what you do, so I might be able to help you out. So once again, I'm trying to strengthen that relationship. So that's how you reach out to that first level connection. So here's the killer part. By adding or going after second level connections, in this case, I'd get 1,966, which would be increasing my pool of prospects by upwards of 78-fold. If I wanted to even increase that, I could go into adding geographical areas and different things. I could add group members. There's a whole bunch of different things that I could do. So now what we want to talk about is, you've approached the low-hanging fruit, which are the people that are in your network that are in your target demographic. Now what we're going to look at is approaching second level connections. So people that you are not connected to, but somehow or other, you have a mutual connection between the two of you. How do you find these people? Once again, you go into this advanced search, hit second level connection. And then what you do is, put your parameters in place of what you want to do, hit search. And then what happens is it brings up specific results. In this case, it brought back like 114 people. And let's just say I want to go reach out to this Gary Leach. I'm not connected to him, but I know someone who is connected to him. So how do I do this? Right below Gary's name, when you're looking on his profile, there's something that says your shared connections. When you click on this, it drops down and shows you what LinkedIn thinks are your top 3 ways to get into this person. So in each of these cases, I know all these people, not Jason so well, but Randy and Cam, I could probably ask for an introduction into this person, but let's pretend I don't know any of these people. Well, you know what? I have 16 shared connections with him, so I'm sure there's another way I might be able to get in. So if I click on this, it brings up this page here with all 16 people, and I can scroll through and see, is there anyone in here that would be more applicable to introducing me into this person? So it gives you that opportunity. Then what you do is you would send an email to that person. Do not use LinkedIn on this because it becomes a hot, horrific mess when you do something like that. My suggestion is take it off onto an email and try to get that introduction to that person. So here's what you can do. Subject line, can you help me out? People always like to help people out. So you're using psychology here. The other thing that you put in is this is a blurb, just this upper part, which is specifically explaining to your connection why you want to be reached out. So it's, hi, hope all is well. Hoping you can help me out. I'm taking a new solution, whatever it is, to different companies right now, and hoping you can help me out by making an introduction to this person at this company. This solution helps companies like this guy's company by doing insert the benefit. Do you know this person well enough to introduce me? If so, here's an intro you can use. And that intro is, here's the subject line, introduction to Chris Hamilton. And then you put the email body. A friend of mine reached out to me to see if I could introduce the two of you. His name is Chris Hamilton. I've known him for a while. Chris helps companies reduce costs, increase revenue, whatever it is with the product or service. He tells me that companies can typically increase revenue by X% or reduce costs by X%, or have an increase in profitability by whatever percent. He was hoping to get introduced to you, and I wanted to check with you first before connecting the two of you. Do you mind if I connect the two of you? Regards, and then you put the person's name in there. And then the last little bit that I put in here is just more for this person. Let me know if you don't mind doing this. I can help. I can tell you more about the process if you would like, or what this product is, or whatever it is. Now, once again, here's how you get people to do this for you. I write this for them. And basically copy paste, put it into an email, and they send it out. Here's my statistics against this. Typically, I've tracked, and it depends kind of on a month by month basis, but I'm getting between about 34% and 43% of the people that I send this message to actually going through, following through, and sending this to their connections. Once I get this into a connection, most cases, what happens is someone says, let's chat. So about in 50%, roughly 50% of the cases, the person who I'm trying to get a hold of or reach out to or connect with will say yes. So I get them in an email conversation, a phone call, or in a meeting in person. And that's just going through the first time. It's amazing when you think about that. That is literally, it's about a 17% success rate to just over 20% success rate on reaching out. Let's go back to a stat that I had before, which was 0.5% success rate on cold calling. So if you're cold calling, you're banging your head against the wall 99.5% of the time. At least in this case, you're getting way more success. And the reasons behind this, I'll get into it in a couple of secs, but really what happens is you're leveraging trust from another individual that will get you in the door. This is going to shorten your sell cycle by upwards of a quarter of the time. Not only that, by doing this, by utilizing referrals like this, what happens is your close rate typically will double as well. This is just different stats that I found online. So it'll go from about 25% to 50% if that's the case. So you'll get way more business in shorter time. Your funnel. This slide, a little obsolete now, by the way. There's actually 4 people have reached out to me in the last 12 months to do this sort of stuff. So think about the success rate. I have generated millions of dollars in revenue for companies, for myself. I've earned some very serious commissions against this sort of stuff. So I don't want you to believe that I've made millions of dollars just doing this, but I've made some very serious commissions for myself, enough to afford a very, very nice lifestyle. And predominantly, I have used this process to get in the doors to people that I would have never had the ability to get into before. And this, just the numbers as I apply this, 4 people against the amount of people that I have in my connections on LinkedIn means 99.9% of people that I'm connected to are not leveraging me to get in the door. That is killer. There is a huge opportunity for you to increase your sales just by doing that. If you don't take away anything from this presentation, that's the one thing I want you to take away if you can. I'm going to skip this slide just for the sake of time because we only have a few minutes left here. Why does it work? Once again, typical sales close at 25%. These close at 50. You're going to convert it about 3 to 5 times greater. 65% of all new businesses from referrals. Only 11% of salespeople have a referral process. You become part of that 11% going after 65, and you will get 15 times more sales leads coming in the door compared to the average salesperson that you may be competing against. Not only that, if you put that into a percentage factor, it literally, your success rate will be 94% greater than people that you're competing against. So I got to just talk really quickly about a process to find potential prospects and clients. One of the things you really need to do is start thinking about an avatar, who your typical client is. You need to look at a title, location, and industry. So for example, we'll just look at vice president of sales and marketing in Calgary, they want gas industry. Step 2, start using that advanced search that I talked about and put the parameters in. Start bringing the results back that you have. And then what happens is select the people you want to start to approach to connect with these potentially second level connection people. Then what you want to do is get a spreadsheet and kind of track this stuff. Don't put it into a CRM system, because you'd just be putting a lot of noise in your CRM system. Once someone becomes, once you get on a phone call or face-to-face meeting and it looks like it's getting serious, then you can start putting this into a CRM system. Leverage that second level connection intro that I showed you. And then once again, make sure you're tracking all this stuff. So you've got the list of prospects in a tracking sheet. Make sure that you're actually putting information into a tracking sheet to make sure you can see what kind of success rates you're going to be getting. One of the things I often talk about too is that when you reach out to someone to try to introduce you, a lot of the times, as I say, I get about 34 to 43% of the people will actually do it for me. So that's a minority. The majority of people won't do it. But the reason being is because I send them an email, it gets buried, they forget about it. When I go back a second or third time and ask them, typically I will get people to do that. So I'll up my percentage to 50%, sometimes greater. Sometimes people will not do it for you. So you know what, move on, see if you can find another way to get in. As I say, I usually cycle around every 30 to 90 days on that tracking list that I have to find other ways to get back into these people as well. Once you've connected, as I say, put it into your CRM system and go from there. How much time does it take? You know what? Build this into a daily process. Every day I am putting information, I put a time aside in my calendar to prospect. One of the things that I do is building out a list, who I'm going to call over the next week or reach out to over the next week. Then Monday through Fridays, I kind of put in up to about 20 minutes a day to reach out to my first level connections, to introduce me second level connections, or to reach out to my first level connections to try to create meetings. I put it in the non-productive sales hours. So we kind of typically before 8 a.m. or I'll try to do it later in the afternoon, 4 p.m. and later, just so that I free up some time during the day so that I have optimal selling time as well. So I wanted to prove to you guys that this works. So I worked for a company called Intralinks it's about 1.75 years. And I was up against 240 salespeople in the company from all around the world. This is a view of a typical week and the activity that I had from that company. So just by leveraging LinkedIn, I also used MailChimp to send out emails. That's a whole different story I'm not going to get into, but I generated, and the two stats I really want you to look at are, I generated 10 times more meetings compared to all the other sales reps in the company on average. And I ended up getting 30 times more people into WebExes or online demos just by using this process. And to show you how much it works, the territory that I worked in, I was in a mergers and acquisitions data room software company called Intralinks. The market in Western Canada where I am was off. The year I went in there, fell off almost 80 some odd %. And then the year after, it fell off almost another 80%. So combined, it was almost 92% off on the amount of business that was available out there. Because I amped everything up, I was able to actually maintain my sales at that level that I had the year before. So I was generating the same revenue for the company, even though my market was off over 90%, which when you think about that is tremendous. If my market hadn't fallen off, I would have just been shooting it right up to the moon. It would have been crazy. So here's the last little bit. We're down to the wire here. I'm trying to get this in under an hour. Please stay on and look at this because I think it's well worth your time. I have a course coming up here. It's starting on September 6th, I think. I'll get to that in a second here. It's called the Digital Referral. This is the process. This is how you leverage LinkedIn to generate sales leads, generate up to 15 times more sales leads. I touched on it in this presentation, but what I've got is a 4-week course that I go through online where I teach people how to generate up to 15 times more sales leads. And, I've had people go through this course and it's changed their life. They are seeing things in a completely different world. As I say, I'll walk you through this process. It's got 100% money back guarantee against it. The cost on this is $200. And if you go to this link down here, bit.ly digital referral course, until Friday, the pricing is actually in Canadian. As of Friday, I'm changing it to American pricing because I'm getting set to launch this for the September course. And there's a whole bunch of goodies that you're going to get in this. So I'm going to give you 8 hours of marketing videos online. Also adding a LinkedIn course that is designed around social selling on a top of this. I'm giving a half an hour consultation, and I will also be giving a 2-for-1 pricing up until the time that I'm really set to launch. So if you go to that number, you'll get it there. So basically, I'm giving away almost $1,500 in value on this with 100% money back guarantee. I'm also, like I said, giving a half an hour consultation to get you steering the right connection. So there's where you go to get that. The last one I want to talk to you about is I have a LinkedIn membership site, and this LinkedIn membership site has over 40 hours of content in it on LinkedIn. So I've put all my LinkedIn courses into this membership site. I've got webinar replays. I put up new monthly content on a consistent basis. As I say, there's almost 40 hours of content. Really, it is the whole digital referral course is actually on this website as well. And the killer part about this is it is only $19 to join. $19 US. I'm in Canada, but it's US because the person or the company that I use to do this is only accepts US dollars. The normal price is $39, but because you sat through this presentation, I will give it to you for $19. I also have, the current value is actually, it's close to about $1,000 plus right now on this. And I'm increasing that content on a monthly basis by about $100 to $50 worth of content each month. I always tell people, take action now. You will learn so much just from this portal that you will be able to start qualifying meetings on a consistent basis. If you just get 10 new meetings a week, get 50% into a funnel with 30% close rate, you're getting 78 more sales a year. I have this steal my information money back guarantee. So the whole idea is every single thing that's sitting in this portal is downloadable. You can download it all. That's why I call it a 30-day money back guarantee, because the fact is that you can go in, join, and if you quit anytime in 30 days, you get your money back. You also have access to my content. Why do I say that? Because you know what? Of anyone who's ever joined, no one's ever done it. But I'm of the opinion that if you're not finding value in this, why stay in it? Long story short on this one is the average sales rep makes $30 an hour in Canada. I don't know what it's like in the US. It's probably equivalent or around the world if you were to kind of even things out. My monthly pan, it's $19. So if you work 40 minutes in the first hour, this is already paid for. If you want to get to this, you can go to bit.ly/LinkedIn_membership_site. It is chocked full of tremendous information for you. So there you go. I'll send information out on this after the fact. If you want to reach out to me, contact me, chris@salestipaday.com, and there's my phone number. And we have a few people still on. Anyone have any questions? Type it in the box down below. I'll see if I can answer them for you. If I don't get any questions, I'll, for about a minute or 2 minutes, then what I'll do is I will then call it a day. But I'd also like to thank you for showing up today because of the fact that you've invested in yourself. Hopefully you've gleaned some information from this to a point where you can take this and start building a better day for you, or better sales opportunities that'll fit your funnel. So there we go. Any questions? Doesn't look like there's any questions. So I'll tell you what, with that, I will bid a due to everybody. Thank you ever so much. Thank you, guest 5807. Unfortunately, I don't know who you are, but if we're not connected on LinkedIn, by the way, please reach out and connect to me on LinkedIn. All you got to do is look up Chris Hamilton in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I accept everybody that reaches out to me. Well, actually, that's not true. There's a few people I don't connect to. Typically, if someone's a sales manager of a iron factory in China, I typically know that that's someone who's trying to scam you. But literally 99.9% of the people I actually connect with. So reach out and we'll go from there. Thank you ever so much. Have yourself a wonderful day. And if you have any questions, you know what, after the fact, reach out to me, chris@salestipaday.com, or call me 403-630-1243. And I'd be more than happy to try to assist or answer any questions. Hopefully, shortcut your time frame to success, obviously. There you go. Have yourself a great day. Thanks for coming, showing up.